Ahead this morning, parents forced out. Why a parental rights group speaking out after a school banned a mother who spoke up for her bullied son. An Oklahoma school system facing a lawsuit after a mother says she was banned from her son's school when she spoke up for him. Also this morning, we take a look at alarming concerns across the country of grade inflation. Joining us this morning, Parents Defending Education's Nicole Neily. Happy Friday. Let's begin with this mom and now former teacher's assistant at Tulsa Public Schools. So, Nicole, she was fired and banned from the district for 6 months after confronting the principal about her son being bullied. Tell us more about this situation and what happened.
Sure. So this mom, who is a special education teacher in the very same district, and her was fired from her job after speaking up. Also, her husband was tried to speak up at a school board meeting several months ago and was also prohibited. They were concerned about their special needs son's IEP, individualized education plan, not being met, as well as bullying. And this is what we have now.
And as you know, and as I know as a mom, we all get emotional about our children, no doubt. The letter stated that she screamed at the principal, she used profanity, she got a little emotional. The issue, though, is the wide latitude that's being used when it comes to this school system banning parents. So tell me about this lawsuit specifically.
Sure. So, yeah, there are only a very few number of carve-outs which are not protected by the First Amendment. Those are things like incitement to imminent lawless action, defamation, fraud, obscenity, child pornography, what's called fighting words, and true threats. And certainly there's no place for actual threats of violence. However, we have frighteningly, over the past several years, seen a number of districts attempt to limit constitutionally protected speech because it turns out that a lot of administrators just simply dislike criticism, and they'll say anybody who criticizes them, says, hey, you're not good at your job, is threatening them. And that's viewed as hateful. And that's why there have been a number of other successful lawsuits brought against districts by the Institute for Free Speech in places like Pennsylvania, Florida, Tennessee, that have tried to block parents from speaking up at school board meetings on spurious grounds. Boards really need to know that the consent of the governed is actually part of the job. It's a feature, not a bug. And if they decide to try and silence families, it is at their peril, and they will face federal lawsuits.
Yeah, I read that her attorney thinks she's got a good case because she was also fired as a result of being banned because, as you mentioned, she is a teacher as well in the school district. I want to ask you about this new report by the organization that administers the ACT. It states that grade inflation is on the rise nationwide, especially in math. Tell us about the new study and the long-term impacts here.
Sure. And this probably is no surprise to a lot of families because a lot of families have felt that their children are getting grades that they don't deserve. When families dig into what their children actually know, they realize they don't have mastery. Unfortunately, this is part of a larger societal trend and push towards equity, which in layman's terms means equality of outcomes. So we have seen this manifest in ways like, kids promoting kids to the next grade, even if they don't know what they're if they haven't learned the stuff in the class that they should be in. This is on the theory that holding a child back might stigmatize them, might otherwise impact their self-esteem. But what this really means is the learning loss and them falling behind compounds, because as they move up to higher grades, if they don't know what they should know at third grade and then they go to fourth grade, suddenly they can't know what they'd be learning in fourth grade because they don't have that basic foundation. And so if anything, these programs end up hurting the students that they are designed to help.
Right, because then they're trying to get into college and they're getting these low scores on the ACT and the colleges don't think they're ready. Finally, I saw a report that the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights issued guidance for school districts that segregating students by race is acceptable so long as it's not strictly enforced. What's this all about?
It's absolutely mind-boggling. Parents Defending Education has filed dozens of civil rights complaints with the Federal Department of Education over the past several years on things like healing spaces, affinity groups. This is segregation. You and I have discussed this many, many times. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It's very hard to imagine that it would be okay in the in the late 1960s for a school district to say, oops, we won't do it again, and for that to be considered an acceptable excuse. It was not okay then, and it is not okay today. Treating children differently on the basis of race is wrong, it's immoral, it's unconstitutional. And think about the message that this is sending to children. It's okay to treat you differently on the basis of your skin color if an adult can come up with an excuse for it. That's wrong. It's just wrong, period.
Parents Defending Education's Nicole Neily. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.